The continuous glucose monitor was designed for people with diabetes, and it has genuinely transformed their lives. The ability to see blood sugar in real time, to catch dangerous highs and lows before they become emergencies, is a medical advancement with clear and documented clinical value. What is happening now, the migration of this technology into the everyday lives of metabolically healthy people, is a more complex story, and it is worth examining carefully before it accelerates further. The case for non-diabetic CGM adoption begins with a genuinely important insight. Metabolic dysfunction does not announce itself. Type 2 diabetes is typically diagnosed after a decade or more of progressively worsening insulin resistance, during which time glucose dysregulation is already damaging blood vessels, nerves, and organs. If CGM data allows healthy individuals to identify metabolic vulnerability years or decades before clinical thresholds are crossed, the prevention window that opens is medically enormous. That logic is sound, and it is the strongest argument for expanding this technology beyond its current diabetic use case. Early non-diabetic CGM users consistently report behavioral surprises. Foods marketed as healthy, certain breakfast cereals, tropical fruits, oat-based products produce glucose spikes in specific individuals that challenge conventional nutritional assumptions. That kind of individualized metabolic feedback is genuinely valuable, and it illustrates an important point. Population-level dietary guidelines are statistical approximations that may not apply to any specific person's physiology. Real-time glucose data has the potential to make nutrition genuinely personal rather than generic. But here is where the analysis needs to shift. There is a meaningful difference between valuable self-knowledge and pathological health surveillance, and the line between them is easier to cross than most technology advocates acknowledge. Glucose curves fluctuate continuously in response to stress, sleep, exercise, infection, and hormonal changes, many of which have nothing to do with dietary choices or metabolic health. Providing a metric that fluctuates this dynamically to individuals who are not trained to interpret the noise versus the signal creates real conditions for anxiety-driven misinterpretation. We are already seeing early evidence of CGM-associated orthorexic patterns, hypervigilance around food choices, social avoidance around meals, and an obsessive quality to metabolic self-monitoring that actually increases physiological stress rather than reducing it. Cortisol, notably, spikes blood glucose on its own. The worried CGM user watching their glucose rise during a stressful meeting may be observing the effect of their own anxiety, not evidence of metabolic dysfunction, and may respond by further restricting their diet, which compounds the problem. The technology is real and the science behind metabolic monitoring is solid. But consumer CGM needs to arrive alongside competent nutritional and metabolic literacy education, not as a standalone data stream sold through a wellness app. Without that interpretive framework, there is a genuine risk that we produce a generation not of metabolically self-aware people, but of metabolically anxious ones. The monitor is a tool, and like any tool, its value depends entirely on whether it is used by someone who understands what they are looking at.